And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the monastery, the open bar of the internet, the world's greatest shit show, and the place where we, the good brothers and sisters of this most holy of temples, seek enlightenment through the drunkest, craziest, and most batshit ways possible. I am your one and only gaming monk, better known as Mildra, and with me I have a newcomer into the temple, creator of Savor, Spices, and Stories, a narrative add-on we'll be getting into, as well as a part of Zine Quest. The one and only Luca Magorosso.
Yes, today, that's correct.
I got it in one. I will take it. So, how have you been doing today?
Fine, thank you. Great. And I'm very glad to be in this monastery.
Oh, yeah. So, a bit of a tradition around here is opening with the humble beginnings, in a sense. The origin story. Depending on who you ask, the villain origin story.
Okay. No, not a villain origin story. This one.
Yeah, but you're a GM. Villainy comes naturally.
Yes.
But
so well.
walk me through your introduction to role-playing games and what made it stick.
Well, I'm playing role-playing games from a very young age. I was like 9 when I started. In Italy, that was this magazine in the journal shops that were a month magazine with a sort of RPG that came in pieces. So like almost like a game book. You played a fantasy story in this storia ancestrale, that is ancestral story, like. And you read the story about a troll, about a little cottage in the woods. And every time a new character or a new object or a new spell was introduced, you got a card, a nice card with the game statistic, the game stats for that troll or that enchantment or that particular lock that you had to open. And that was the very first introduction to TTRPGs that I had. And that was incredible. A whole world of possibilities without a board, without any material, but just imagination and stories that came alive in my mind and in my friends' ones.
Yeah, I can certainly get that. Now,
yes, it's magical. Yes.
I know that in your profile you had talked about founding Sardina's tabletop role-playing games club, the D7. Talk to me about how that came to be.
That was a great adventure. We came to Luca Comics and Games, the greatest and I think the wider, biggest game con, not only in Italy but also in Europe. And we went to a competition about TTRPGs with 3 friends. And when we came back to Cagliari, that's the city when I was born. So we look around us and we see no community, no gamers around us. We barely know a couple of other role-playing gamers about other than us, and so that came quite naturally. We guess we could start something, and we did, and now until now the D7 is still the main protagonist of the game scene in Cagliari, in Sardinia.
All right, I can certainly get that.
I'm quite proud of it.
Yeah. What prompted the name the D7?
The dice are often shortened by their number, you surely know. And the D7 was the missing dice. So, like something was missing from the game scene in Cagliari, we decided that the missing dice was our symbol. And the D7, it's meant to mean the literal 7 dice, 7-faced dice.
Yep.
That is also our logo.
So, with Savor, Spices, and Stories,
yes, one new story.
So, how did this kind of thing come about? Was the idea of having an expanding cooldown moment something that you were ad-libbing in your own games and decided to make into a book, or was there a different origin story?
Not a book this time. Many of my ideas are good books that I read, but this one was a specific charter of mine. I played Monster Hunter, a generic Monster Hunter, not a trademarked Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah.
I had this dwarf ranger that loved to hunt and track down and hunt big monsters. And after the party killed them, we also had some kind of meal with some parts of the monster we slayed. And that gave me the ideas in first place. That happened 5-6 years ago. But this year, writing material for a new Zine quest, that came back to my mind, and I was thunderstruck. Oh God, this is the idea I was searching for. Why I didn't think about it before? Because so many things happened while our charters was having meal resting. We always had some funny scene to role play about. And that was just a great chance to make some part of our stories clear to the other. Like I was, this is not the first giant slay. And some other player would say something about, oh yeah, not the first, and what was the first? And I started bragging about my original and so very grim backstory.
Oh, and it does touch on something interesting, since one would think, when you have the kind of unique flora and fauna that you have in just the standard monster manual, that there would be dishes that
Something edible.
take advantage of that. Oh,
Yes.
I've messed around with that myself, like having. I think I had one that was taking. I believe it was some sort of dire bull, and making steak out of that. Just having the thing of needing a bigger knife for it, because with everything's bigger with dyers.
Yes.
And there was also, when I was running the one shots for my own game last month, I made a point of having having Ochu that was treated kind of like zucchini noodles, just using Ochu tentacles instead. And obviously, there's been a bit bigger awareness of that recently, especially with anime like Delicious and Dungeon making the rounds. Which, has anyone brought that up to you?
Yes, they did, and I had to admit I had never watched it. So these last days I did some rewatching, and so very first time watching in reality, as a fact.
Yeah. I look at it as a case of convergent creativity.
Sorry?
I look at it as a case of convergent creativity.
Conversion creativity?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
That is a term that I've used around here to describe when multiple people end up coming to the same conclusion for a creative project, even though they had no interaction with each other.
Yes, it happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
well, it's like we realized just now that all the strange creatures had to be edible in some way. In delicious food, in delicious dungeons, it's because they risk to starving. But we came to the same conclusion because we were simply curious, or maybe maniacs. I don't know.
Yeah. But with that in mind, with some of the previous work that you've done, things like Seeds of Discord and Heroes of Evil, where you're building around either your own setting or building around 5e, for instance. But Savor is meant to be system agnostic. Was it easier or more difficult to write in a system neutral way?
Well, it was more difficult for me because I try to take in count every game system that I know Man, now I realize there are many, many more that I like in this moment. So often I stop writing and I pause to reflect, does it fit in every game system? Or am I just considering Dungeons and Dragons again like the only rule set that is not, obviously. So lots of additional work. When I wrote Seeds of Discord, the problem was the opposite, because that was a cyberpunk game about teenager spies with superpowers. And that was an original system based on the poker game. But I had my ideas were very clear from the beginning. So I had the poker game rule. I had this cyberpunk setting I'm working on that will become also a standalone project on Baker Kid soon. It's the 2220 RPG. I worked on it from very few years. So Seeds of Discord was meant to be set in the same world, so the world was already set. The rules were, just clear in my mind. I had to write them down. But in this case, it's like having a table covered of RPG manuals and having to remember each of that one every sentence I write. So it's definitely harder. Yeah, definitely harder.
Oh yeah, especially since I think early on the focus was going to be fantasy, but it sounds like you had expanded into other styles of storytelling.
Yes. One of the stretch goals was a specific adaptation to the cyberpunk genre. I really love the cyberpunk genre, and I refer to it every time I had a chance. So this time I was going to make no exception.
Yeah, which is certainly fair, and when it comes to cooking, I've tried to apply what I've learned working, being around different local places, and I'd imagine that within the text here, you might have something about chefs having their own variations on things that they are very, very proud of.
Yes, I do.
Much like how there's always that one dish in various cultures that has like a million variants that everybody swears by as the proper way to do it.
Yes, in Italy that's very the case. Every single dish has 1,000 local variation, regional variation. And everyone has his favorite, so I could argue about the correct way of cooking pasta for hours. And that's surely added value to the project, because I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I think with something like this, especially with how narrative focused it is, this is one of those cases where guidance is going to be key. And to that end, I'm curious if within the text you have a few examples to kind of help ease people into getting used to this concept of doing cooking as part of downtime during play.
Yes, I think so. The first, I think the most important thing that I clearly stated in the beginning is that these rules are not meant to force the player to play out these rest scenes.
Mm-hmm.
These rules are meant to be optional in some way, because not the game master, but some of the players have to remember to say a phrase like now just sit and eat this, or I will cook that thing, or something like that. It is of the most importance because the players choose when rest is significative and when is not.
Yep.
Because in the middle of a run, when they are fighting against time to reach some place, they may have to rest, but they probably won't stop to use these mechanics to role play a comfy scene about their characters. They want to get to the target as fast as possible, and force them to use these rules would ruin the story rhythm. In some other case, the characters naturally will stop and try to talk about what they eat. And this is the perfect chance. This is the perfect chance to tell something about their characters, or tell something about the world. Because if you eat what you find in the world, you are also giving deep and strength to the world narrative. And this is what Savor and Savor Spices and Stories is about.
Oh, yeah. Now, with that in mind, when it comes
Yes.
to a lot of fantasy settings, you have it where magic is a part of everyday life. I'm curious within this book if you have any suggestions on how magic might impact cooking.
Well, there are some major and minor examples. The minor ones are the most obvious. Like any wizard that can cast burning ants can use this spell to cook meat. And this is great, I think. But these are just minor examples. The major one are settings where the magic is so pervasive that everyone could be some sort of mage cook. I'm specifically thinking about the Altered World. I don't know if you have any familiarity with the collectible card game Altered.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great. When I started writing, I was thinking about the Altered setting first, because there the world has been tainted by this imagination that have changed it in a dramatic ways also. And every person can alter reality just imposing his wishes, hopes, stories, memories into the reality. And at some point of the expedition, they are rediscovering this world that has changed with this tumult cataclysm based on the imagination. In a certain point, they discover the sap, a sort of magic nectar that they use for a lot of things in reality. And between that, there is also to fuel machines, and that make me low because they also eat it. So in some ways, they are eating their oil. But in some other ways, this is perfect because this is some sort of syrup. I think I'm spelling it right.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And they can use it to cook all sort of sweet dishes, and also to add flavor, but not only flavor, because this magic is peculiar because they can instill their memories into the food, so to share the memories with everyone who eats this food. And that's great because that's exactly on the point. During the day, you make a discover that you can't tell to your mates. So in the evening, you cook the dinner, and you use magic to infuse your memory of the thing that you couldn't tell in the food. So every one of your party allies eat this food and also have a chance to live again the memory you want to talk about. And that's wow, that's wonderful. Mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think I had used magic cooking in a one-shot once that was set up as a whodunit, where everyone ends up eating a very nice meal, but afterwards there was some secret that was in that conversation that each person knows, and I gave everyone a handout that they were not supposed to share with each other. But if they outright say it, they start losing their lunch. So they have to figure out a way to
like vomiting.
To say what the thing is without actually saying it.
Okay.
It's obviously it's a tricky thing, and it was definitely a case of I expect you all to find ways to bend and break the rules for this.
For sure, that's a certain.
Because well, anyone who's spent enough time with games will find ways to slip through the exceptions. You know, there's the saying, the young man knows all the rules, the old man knows all the exceptions.
Yes.
One person had done it in a way that was a way only he could do, because he just starts randomly he would always do this rhythmic tapping of the table.
Yes, annoying. Yes.
And it seemed annoying until people figured out, wait, he's doing Morse code.
No.
And
great.
In any other circumstance, I'd probably say, oh, that's not allowed. But I'm like, technically, he didn't say it, so it counts.
Yes.
Which, if you've read any fairy tale in your life, you know how this goes. There's always a way to worm out of the deal.
Yes, very dangerous.
But it is when it comes to the idea of getting ingredients. Obviously, doing an ingredient list for any set of monsters would not be feasible unless you want a book that's bigger than the monster manual. But do you plan on putting in guidelines about what would be some common ingredients that could be found from different types of monsters, or a few limited examples on that front?
Yes, there are some limited examples. They are not the core because I mostly focus on the scene when they are cooked. But every player is encouraged, something like that. I wish every player have the chance to tell how the ingredients were collected in the first place. But I don't give any rigid guideline about what monsters give what ingredients. It would be too strict, in my opinion, and too limitative for the players. If for some the troll is totally inedible, for other group the troll is the most delicious meat you ever taste. So I don't want to say one or the other. I want everyone to find their way to interpret their monsters, their setting, their situation in the end. And the game master, I want he have the last word, not me.
Oh yeah, I can certainly get that, and I'd imagine there's a few cases of recipes that are using a bit more esoteric kind of monsters, or
Yes,
just esoteric ingredients.
Yes. In the recipe book, I indulge in the more detailed descriptions. So a lot of the recipes I wrote down, there are very specific ingredients. Some are physical, like the head of a unicorn. That is the base of a delicious roast. And some other are metaphysical, because there are some recipes, like the ragu of doom. Ragu is a particular red sauce with meat. I don't know if the word ragu means something to you. Okay,
yeah,
that's okay. Okay. So the ragu of doom would be based on negative emotion collected in physical form to make them cook with a tomato sauce.
Yep. Of course, someone had just commented, "Do orcs taste like pork?"
Some say it indeed. Some say.
Depends on the orc. If we're talking about more fairy tale kind of orcs, ones with that definitely have more pig faces, maybe. If we're talking Lord of the Rings orcs, absolutely not.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't eat them. I wouldn't.
I'd imagine. Well, first off, I'd imagine eating orcs, eating Lord of the Rings style orcs would probably kill you.
Yeah, it should.
On the other hand, Warhammer orcs would probably taste like mushrooms because they are technically jumped up fungi.
Yes, what they are. Yes.
Oh.
And what about the Warcraft ones? That's basically cannibalism.
Yeah. Which is funny because I've had a running joke for the longest time of, if a coward eats chicken, is that cannibalism?
What?
If a coward eats chicken, is that cannibalism?
No, it shouldn't. No. No, it's not.
But I'd imagine when it comes to that sort of thing, just don't be like the one guy in the Warden and the Pouch expansion for Total Warhammer, where a goblin ended up eating troll meat and ended up getting big because trolls regenerate. So in order to keep the thing from regenerating to the point where his stomach bursts, he has to keep eating other things.
Oh God. That's very nasty.
And of course, there's also the whole thing with ogres in Warhammer Fantasy, where they have to not only do they have to keep eating, their god is all about eating it because it is the Great Maw. Uh,
Yeah, Mark and Gork.
that's an orc thing. For the ogres, it is the Great Maw.
Ah, okay, that's different. So it's not Mark; it's a different god.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because ogres aren't related in any way to orcs or any other greenskin.
Okay. Okay. That was a detail I was missing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But in the same. Speaking of that, I'm curious if you had considered putting something in about the different styles of dishes that certain races or might favor. Like what kind of things you might see in elven style cooking as opposed to dwarven cooking, for instance.
Well, sort of, because I inserted some jokes around the races.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the recipe book, particularly, when I tell you you need some flour, I always write down just not the gnomish flour. And so when you read it, when you read it, you are encouraged to find out why the gnomish flour is not good for that particular dish. So it's up to your imagination. I just let it down. Just... On the other hand, some dishes are entitled to a particular race. Because I have the elfish beneficial berries biscuits.
Yeah, I could see. As far as the gnome powder, I'd imagine that is something that you're only going to see in something out of Hunter S. Thompson's writing.
Yes. I always wondered why the Lord of Rings is one of the few books to describe how the fantasy setting eat their meals, because it's a very interesting topic, and many fantasy sagas left it totally out of screen. For so say,
I'd imagine a big reason for that is just time is your enemy.
Yes, I guess.
The fact that you only have so much time to work with, or so much page count to work with in a given moment.
Yes, but instead of the usual hill descriptions, not hill, I mean mountain description. Yeah, instead of some scenario description, I'd really prefer some meal description.
Yeah, I've attempted to do that, and I think in one case I had a thing of the what was called the Tower Challenge, and
the Tower Challenge.
It was a certain meal called the Tower because not because it's some ridiculously tall dish, but because it's gonna feel like climbing the tower trying to eat it.
Okay, wow.
The rule was, if you can finish it in 5 minutes, it's free.
That's great. I certainly would try to eat it.
And I made sure to note that there is a wall full of people's photographs of people who tried it and failed, called the Hall of Shame. There's plenty of restaurants who have those sort of challenge meals that either people rarely succeed at, or anyone who succeeds at gets their photo put up on the wall.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? That kind of thing is ridiculous in the real world. We can make it even more ridiculous in a fantasy setting.
You sure can.
Oh. Or
that's great. That's great.
I think in one case I added in certain peppers that if you end up eating them unprepared, you're gonna end up having the equivalent of burning hands come out of your mouth anytime you open it.
Lord.
Which might be ridiculous, but on the other hand, that might actually come in handy.
Oh yes, it could. Some of my players would certainly find a use for it.
Because I already have ways of messing with some of my players when it comes to spicy. I have if somebody does something ridiculously stupid, they have to go through a punishment.
Yes.
One option is drinking a bottle of bacon soda, BACON soda. It is absolutely disgusting, which is why it's a fitting punishment. Or
I never tasted it, but I guess it is.
Imagine bacon grease mixed with club soda.
Okay.
And on the other hand, there is what's known as the pain glass. This is a shot glass filled with water, salt, sea salt, pepper, black pepper, 4 different hot sauces, and one of the hot sauces I grabbed off of Hot Ones.
That sounds dangerous for your health.
Well, I have some friends who have a very high spice tolerance, so if I'm gonna make something spicy, I have to go to a level that is probably not for the sane.
Well, we are all made here, no? We are not.
Yeah, but I've occasionally taken that kind of thing and decide to up the ridiculousness by putting it in fantasy settings.
Yes.
Besides, if I'm going to call something the pain glass, I have to deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh. There's been plenty of those instances. I will admit some of that came to mind when I saw the headline of forbidden recipes, which makes me think of certain foods that I've seen cooks make that are where angels fear to tread.
Yes.
Or the one time I was at a chili contest, also known as the last time I'll ever be at a chili contest.
God. Messing with allergies, it's very often a bad idea.
It wasn't an allergy thing. It was this thing feels like I'm eating liquid magma in terms of how spicy it is.
Okay.
Like, I can handle some spice, but I have a limit.
Yeah, I guess. My tolerance is very low to spicy.
Mm-hmm. I had to try. I lost a bet once, and I had to try out the Carolina Reaper, and I think I invented 14 new swear words just from dealing with that thing. Also, bread doesn't work. Use yogurt.
Oh yes. Yogurt saved me once. There was this particular Arabic restaurant in London where I had the most spicy meal I ever eat. Then I ordered some vegetable soup, hoping to hoping to have some relief. And turns out the vegetable soup was like floating in spicy oil. That was terrible. I was already thirsty, and then I eat this damn thing. It was hellish, like diabolical. And then I had the yogurt because I would be dead without.
Yeah. I usually use skyr, which is a type of yogurt that's that was
Okay, I
pioneered
don't
in
know
Iceland.
it. Okay.
It's a lot more packed in than, say, Greek.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps alleviate the problem.
Yeah.
But with that said, even with the stretch goals that you ended up getting, what are you shooting for as far as a page count for the project?
You mean the page I wrote down or the goal that I have?
The latter.
Okay. The goal are about, just trying to remember, about 30, 35 pages. I'm not totally sure because a lot depends on the, but the core book will be around about 30 pages, and the recite book will be around 20 pages.
Mm-hmm. Which I can certainly get that. And as far as a release window, are you shooting for this summer?
Well, I pointed down the summer like the ideal release date, but in fact, the writing is going on pretty fast. And if the other campaign, the Cyberpunk game campaign, doesn't take me out of combat, I think there are good chances to finish it before this summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could certainly see that. Now, with all that said, I do want to sincerely thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come all the way over to my monastery and enjoy the madness that happens here.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
And anytime you see fit to return, the door is always open. As I often say around here, drinking is not mandatory, but it is encouraged.
That's great. It is certainly encouraged. Thank you a lot. You've been very kind and was a very pleasant conversation.
Mm-hmm. And of course, a sincere thanks to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there will be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra. I am your gaming monk. Stay fucking frosty, everybody.